Hello everyone and welcome to TekFlow for Government and Public Facilities, brought to you by Zentek Consultants. TekFlow is a recurring video cast where we focus on publicly accessible venues, right? And we talk about the best technology practices and procedures that we have been implementing for our clients here at Zentek. Whether it's schools, airports, municipal buildings, hospitals, restaurants, any public space that you deal with, we're going to talk to you guys about better ways to manage and control those using simple technologies you probably already own. I am Jim Coppinger, one of the principals here at Zentek Consultants, and on today's episode of TekFlow for Government and Public Facilities, I really want to start getting into security dashboards. And in particular today, I want to talk about standardizing your security tools, or making sure that whatever programs or facilities that you are managing and in control of from a security standpoint, you're really consistent in the way that those interfaces work for each of those different facility structures, right? So that's kind of what I want to focus on today. So let's start with the idea, right? So we're talking about standardizing your security controls. And like I said, the first thing that we want to do is make sure that you got consistent format and layout and presentation for all of your facilities, all your programs, all your workflows across multiple environments. One of the things that we do run into a lot here when we start dealing with clients in this government and facility control space is there's kind of this loose attitude where you kind of let each facility determine its own structure and its own layout and how they want to look and feel. And it's something we really try to steer clients away from. It's something I want you guys all to consider when you're starting to plan your security control structure dashboards. Because if you're not consistent, if you don't have the same format on every single facility, right, it's very easy for people to get lost. This kind of a structure should really be working kind of from the top down, and you should have the same structure in every single environment. So, the idea behind any kind of a dashboarding system, particularly in the security environment, is it's about getting people to the information that they need as quickly as they can get it. And the best way to make that happen is to be certain that no matter which facility or which floor or which zone or region within your realm that you're working with, that it looks exactly the same, right? So here I've got a very simple dashboard interface for just some basic buttons we've used for examples in previous sessions that kind of handle some of the security stuff. Right? And this is for a specific school, right? It's for the HBS. But this interface, exactly what you see here, one of the things that's really important is that in every single school that you have, and or every single apartment building, or every single lease space, or every single government building, you should have all of these same basic parameters structured and laid out in the same way. So as people are moving from one facility to another, whether it's physically or online, or if people at executive levels need to get quickly to information and verification in any kind of an emergent situation, they've got the same interface. Right? We really want to steer you guys away from ever allowing each individual site to kind of lay out and format things the way they want. You want a very consistent, repeatable look and feel to everything you're going to do in this dashboarding structure, particularly in the security environment. All right? So the next thing that we want to talk about then is making sure that we have fast and easy visual linking to all of your security data. And that's really what we were kind of just looking at back there on our PDF, right? That what we have here is the ability for anybody to go in, and this is a very simple visual interface. They can just kind of look at an item, right? You see it's broken down into categories and sections. So if they're looking for, active emergency response, all right, they know there's a problem, they need to get to emergency services. And you see, when they hover over the buttons, they can tell what each of these buttons is going to do, right? And each one of these, of course, is linked to a specific file. All right, so here's all your, your alarm codes, everything you need, whatever it may be, right, for that particular setup. And that includes tying your way through, right, simple, visual cues, whether it's with a map, an image, a button, or even a text link like I have here, where I can go and I can click and I can go into the school, right, and everybody can go in and say, hey, I know I need to look at the first floor. If here are other, buttons and data sources that I can refer to, but I can easily go in and I can click and I can direct myself into, the first floor of this facility. Right? So all of the directions, all of the structures we're dealing with are visual in nature, right? Even if it's text-based, so to speak, we're not having to worry about people knowing how to use specific software programs or specific procedures. Anybody who can read and look at a picture can make their way through your dashboard to get right to the data they need immediately in very, very simple manners. All right, so that's what I mean by fast and easy visual linking. The next key step that you really want to, when you're trying to standardize security tools, you want to make sure you're using very simple symbology for all of your security fixtures, right? And what do I mean by security fixtures? Well, it's when we get into dealing with images and plans, right? When we can go in, and one of the really nice things here is we can go in and we can start to do things like laying out, hey, where are the card readers on site, right? Where are the fire alarms? Where are the pull stations, the emergency eye washes? Where are the cameras, right? All of the different security considerations, right? Fire extinguishers, all that data, we can use standard reusable symbology that we can actually build into tool sets that we can use again and again on every single site to make sure that we're getting a consistent layout so that, the card readers look like this, blue box with the purple inside. That's our standard, right? And again, these can be whatever standards you choose for your facilities and structures. But on every facility within your system, you want to make sure they look the same. So when people go from site to site to site, they know exactly what they're looking at. There's nothing worse than having cameras on one plan be circles and on somebody else's drawings they're squares with triangles. It's got to be consistent. You want a centralized set and structure of different types of symbology, right? So that you're making sure that as things are moved and changed and updated, it's always going to be consistent. So developing for yourself a set of standardized tools or a tool set in a PDF structure, right? Everything we do in dashboarding, we try to focus in the PDF just because it's a neutral environment that everybody can use and access. But having a tool set up like that inside of something like Bluebeam, which is a PDF creator and editor, makes it a lot easier for you to get the output and get people to where you need them to go, right? And the last thing that we want to make sure is that all of the symbology, all of the buttons, all of the text links, everything has you directly linking to real-time security data whenever possible. What do we mean by that? Well, you can go in and you can get involved in all kinds of things, right? So for example, if, like I said, we've got a card reader right here, right? In a card reader, you see I've got a little link right here that people can just go in, they can just click on it, right? And it'll automatically take you to the login, log out, right? This is the log where people are going in and out of the door. Every time they swipe in and out with their key cards, it's keeping a log of who went in, their security times, right? And again, this one happens to be kept track of in an Excel file, right? But if you have one that handles it online or through a secondary program, that can be cross-linked as well, right? Same thing, and a camera, right? So if you want to go in and link, to a specific camera, right, where you can go into a camera and work on it and get the real-time visuals of that particular camera and what's going on with it, you can absolutely do that. Right? We can go in and we can cross-link and we can tie to different secondary systems. Right? In an evacuation, if we've got an assembly structure, we can click on there and go out and see, here's a graphic of the exterior and who should be in what area and track the, the people and what, whatever you need to do, right? There's really no limit to the type of connection structure you can make here for your security. Even if it's as simple as wanting to track, when's the last time that, this particular fire extinguisher was recharged, okay? Right? Anything and everything that you guys are dealing with now in terms of your current workflow can almost certainly be tied and pulled into this type of a visual dashboard structure. All right, and that's really kind of what we meant when we talked today about standardizing your security tools. You see, it ties into just about everything we've talked about previously in this program about general dashboarding and dashboard concepts, but in security, it becomes even more of a structure. And that is really what I wanted to talk to you about today. And over the next few episodes here, we're really going to be focusing primarily on security controls and security dashboarding here on TekFlow for government and public facilities. And I hope you'll join us for those. Talk to you next time.